Statues are everywhere, adorning cities, parks, and monuments. Most of us pass them by without a second thought, but in some places around the world, statues are much more than decoration. People touch them, rub them, slap them, even set them on fire, all in the name of tradition, superstition, or pure curiosity. From the infamous Traitor statues in China to Juliet's shiny bronze chest in Italy for love, statues have a strange way of connecting us to history, legend, and sometimes the supernatural. In this video, we're counting down some of the most unusual, bizarre, and interactive statues around the world, each one with a story you won't believe. The most slapped statues in China. If you ever visit Hangzhou in China, you might stumble upon one of the strangest tourist traditions in the world, people lining up just to slap statues. At first glance, it looks bizarre. Why would anyone walk up to a monument, spit on it, curse it, or even smack it across the face? But behind this unusual ritual lies a powerful story of betrayal, patriotism, and centuries of resentment that refuses to fade away. The statues in question are not of heroes, but of villains, Qin Hui, his wife, and two of his aides. Back in the Song dynasty, the general Yue Fei was celebrated as one of China's greatest military leaders, a man of loyalty and courage. But Qin Hui, a high-ranking official, conspired against him and orchestrated his execution. For over 800 years, these figures have been remembered as the ultimate traitors to the Chinese people. To this day, their iron statues kneel shamefully in front of Yue Fei's tomb. Visitors don't treat them with reverence. Instead, they slap them, spit on them, and hurl insults. The constant contact has even made parts of the statues shiny from centuries of human anger. It's as if history itself has turned into a public punching bag, a way for people to release their frustration and keep the memory of betrayal alive. And this isn't just a modern internet trend, it's been happening for generations. Parents even bring their children to join in, teaching them a lesson, that loyalty should be honored and betrayal never forgiven. In fact, the phrase slap Qin Hui has become a kind of cultural expression, symbolizing justice that transcends time. But slapping statues isn't the only incident tied to these figures. In recent years, visitors have gone further, smashing or damaging similar statues at Yue Fei memorials out of sheer emotion. And beyond this, China has faced other cases where ancient statues, like the Terracotta Army, have been attacked or damaged, though those were more acts of vandalism than tradition. Still, nothing compares to the enduring ritual in Hangzhou. Few places in the world turn historical villains into permanent targets of public scorn. It's part history lesson, part cultural therapy, and part warning that even centuries later, a traitor's shame can live on in bronze and iron. John Harvard's statue, Harvard University, USA. On the campus of Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, stands the iconic statue of John Harvard, often called the Statue of Three Lies. At first glance, it looks like just another commemorative figure, but to students and visitors, it's much more than that. Tradition says that rubbing the statue's left shoe brings good luck, especially before exams. Over the decades, this ritual has become so popular that the shoe now gleams brightly compared to the rest of the dark bronze figure. Tourists from around the world line up to touch it, believing they're sharing in a tradition of academic fortune. But here's the twist. Harvard students know the statue has another reputation. That shiny shoe is often the target of late-night pranks, with students leaving their own contributions on it. So while visitors think they're brushing against centuries of wisdom, they might actually be rubbing something very different. What began as a simple superstition has now become part of the legend itself, a mix of tradition, humor, and a little bit of irony. And while this statue is touched for luck in exams, in other places statues are touched for a very different reason, to curse traitors for all eternity. The Judas statues, Loja, Ecuador. In the city of Loja, Ecuador, New Year's Eve isn't celebrated with just fireworks and music, it's marked by fire and destruction. Here, statues and effigies of Judas, the biblical figure synonymous with betrayal, are built out of paper, wood, and cloth. But these aren't meant to be preserved or admired, they're meant to be destroyed. As midnight approaches, the figures are stuffed with fireworks, paraded through the streets, and then set ablaze in a dramatic ritual. The burning of Judas represents the cleansing of the old year, the destruction of betrayal, and the hope for a fresh start. For locals, it's more than just a spectacle. It's a symbolic act of purging negativity before stepping into the new year. Much like the slapping of traitor statues in China, this fiery tradition is a way for people to take history and morality into their own hands, turning public ritual into a living reminder of values passed down for generations. But instead of open palms against iron, here the punishment is absolute, fire reducing the betrayer to ashes. From glowing bronze in Italy to polished shoes in Harvard, and now burning effigies in Ecuador, the ways people interact with statues couldn't be more different. Yet, each tradition carries the same weight: the human need to make history personal, touchable, and unforgettable. Manneken Pis, Brussels, Belgium. In the heart of Brussels stands one of Europe's quirkiest monuments, Manneken Pis, a tiny bronze statue of a boy urinating. Despite its small size, it has become one of the city's most visited landmarks, attracting tourists from around the globe who come to snap photos and marvel at its unexpected charm. But Manneken Pis isn't just a statue, it's a canvas for local creativity and celebration. Over the years, the city has dressed him in hundreds of costumes, ranging from historical figures to pop culture icons, making him arguably the most accessorized statue in the world. Whether it's a sailor's outfit, a superhero cape, or a traditional Belgian costume, each outfit tells a story or marks a special event in the city. This playful interaction between locals and the statue shows a lighter side of how humans connect with monuments. Lenin statues, post-Soviet states. Across Eastern Europe, monuments of Vladimir Lenin once towered as symbols of power and authority. After the fall of the Soviet Union, however, many of these statues were toppled, defaced, or relocated, becoming relics of a past that people were eager to mock or forget. In some cities, though, the statues remain, and they've taken on a new, unexpected life. Tourists and locals alike now pose shaking hands with Lenin, snapping photos in playful defiance of the authority he once represented. In other cases, statues are painted, accessorized, or humorously altered, turning symbols of fear and control into objects of amusement and satire. This shift transforms the way we interact with monuments. Once untouchable and commanding, Lenin statues now invite engagement, laughter, and even rebellion. It's a reminder that statues, like history itself, are never static. They can be reinterpreted, challenged, and even made part of a living cultural joke. Haunted statues, Scotland and USA. Some statues are more than just stone or bronze. They're said to carry curses, hauntings, and mysterious powers that linger long after they were created. Across the world, stories of haunted statues have captured the imagination of locals and travelers alike. In Washington, D.C., the statue known as Black Aggie has a dark reputation. Legend claims that anyone who stares into her eyes at night may suffer misfortune, madness, or even death. The eerie aura surrounding the statue has made it a magnet for thrill-seekers, paranormal enthusiasts, and skeptics, all drawn by curiosity and fear. Meanwhile, in Scotland, the grave of Greyfriars Bobby tells a more touching but no less mysterious story. The loyal dog who supposedly spent years guarding his master's grave is memorialized in a small statue where visitors leave sticks, flowers, and tokens, believing that the spirit of the devoted dog still lingers. While not cursed, the statue carries an energy that blurs the line between legend and reality. The Charging Bull, New York City, USA. In the heart of Manhattan's financial district stands the iconic Charging Bull, a bronze statue that has become a global symbol of financial optimism, power, and resilience. Tourists flock to it every day, snapping photos, climbing on its back, and sometimes even posing in dramatic victory stances. But the most famous interaction isn't for photos, it's for luck. Visitors from around the world rub the bull's nose, horns, and most notoriously, its testicles, believing that doing so will bring prosperity and fortune in their investments. Over decades, this ritual has polished certain areas of the statue to a bright, gleaming shine, a stark contrast to the darker bronze of the rest of the figure. What began as a simple tribute to financial courage has evolved into an almost pilgrimage-like ritual, with the bull's gleaming parts acting as proof of centuries of hope, superstition, and human curiosity. It's a striking example of how people can transform a statue from a static monument into a living symbol of luck and tradition. The bronze boar, Il Porcellino, Florence, Italy. In the bustling Mercato Nuovo of Florence, Italy, a bronze boar known as Il Porcellino draws crowds from around the world. This isn't just a statue to admire, it's a living tradition. Visitors reach out to rub the boar's shiny snout for good luck, a ritual that has polished the bronze to a bright gleam over centuries. But the interaction doesn't stop there. Tradition dictates that after rubbing the snout, you must place a coin in the boar's mouth and let it fall into the grate below. If the coin lands successfully, legend says you are guaranteed to return to Florence one day. This playful ritual has turned the statue into both a symbol of fortune and a must-do experience for tourists seeking a connection to the city's centuries-old charm. Abraham Lincoln's Nose, Lincoln Memorial and White House, USA. While most people admire the imposing seated statue of Abraham Lincoln at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., there's a lesser-known tradition centered around a bust of Lincoln at the White House. Over the years, visitors have developed the habit of rubbing Lincoln's nose for good luck, believing it might bring fortune, wisdom, or protection. Much like the John Harvard statue at Harvard University, this simple act of touching a historical figure's statue has created a lasting ritual. Repeated over decades, the constant contact has left Lincoln's nose noticeably polished compared to the rest of the bronze, a subtle but fascinating reminder of the ways superstition and human behavior intertwine with monuments. It's a small gesture, but it reflects a universal tendency. Humans want to physically connect with history, turning statues into living symbols of hope, luck, or personal ritual. The feral cat statues, Istanbul, Turkey. Istanbul is a city known for its deep affection for stray cats, and this love has been immortalized in art. One of the most famous examples is Tombili, a cat who became an internet sensation for his relaxed, laid-back pose on a step. After his passing, the city erected a statue in his honor, capturing his signature lounging posture in bronze. Visitors to the statue don't rub it for luck or wealth. Instead, they leave flowers, sit beside it, or simply pause in quiet respect, celebrating the spirit of a city that embraces comfort, hospitality, and the simple joys of life. Unlike rituals centered on superstition or fortune, the interaction with Tombili's statue is a heartfelt gesture, a human connection to a beloved animal that came to symbolize the soul of Istanbul. From slaps in China to good luck rituals in Florence and New York, this statue reminds us that not all traditions are about power, wealth, or revenge. Some are simply about love, respect, and shared joy. The Little Mermaid, Copenhagen, Denmark. Copenhagen's Little Mermaid statue, inspired by Hans Christian Andersen's famous fairy tale, is one of the city's most iconic landmarks. Yet over the years, this beloved figure has faced an astonishing amount of abuse. Vandals have beheaded her, cut off her arm, and even defaced her with paint, turning what is meant to be a symbol of grace and culture into a frequent target for mischief and protest. Despite the repeated attacks, the statue has always been restored, standing as a testament to resilience and the enduring power of cultural symbols. It serves as a fascinating example of how people interact with public art, not always out of admiration, but sometimes to make a statement, play a prank, or challenge authority. From good luck rituals and playful touches to vandalism and protests, the story of the Little Mermaid shows that statues aren't just objects, they're living witnesses to human behavior, emotion, and culture. Juliet statue, Verona, Italy. In the heart of Verona, the city of Shakespeare's famous lovers, stands a bronze statue of Juliet. But unlike most statues admired from afar, this one is constantly touched. Tradition says that rubbing Juliet's right breast brings good fortune in love, and millions of visitors over the years have done exactly that. The proof is visible on the statue itself. While most of the bronze has darkened with age, the spot where people reach for luck shines a polished golden color. The constant contact grew so intense that city officials eventually removed the original statue and placed a replica in its spot, preserving the worn figure like a relic of human superstition. Today, the ritual continues. Couples, tourists, and even skeptics can't resist testing the legend for themselves, turning Juliet's statue into one of the most unusual symbols of love in the world. But while in Verona, statues are rubbed for romance, in other parts of the world they're touched for something far less poetic, like securing good grades. The Bremen Town Musicians, Bremen, Germany. In Bremen, Germany, a bronze statue commemorates the beloved fairy tale of the Bremen Town Musicians by the Brothers Grimm. The sculpture depicts the four animals, a donkey, dog, cat, and rooster, stacked one on top of the other in a whimsical pose. But this statue is more than just a photo opportunity. Visitors participate in a playful tradition. They grab the front legs of the donkey with both hands, close their eyes, and make a wish. Local legend holds that if done correctly, the wish is granted, turning the statue into a symbol of hope and magic. Over the years, the repeated touching has polished certain parts of the bronze, a shining testament to centuries of belief and playful interaction. The Child Eater Fountain, Bern, Switzerland. In the heart of Bern, Switzerland, stands the eerie Kindlifresserbrunnen, or Child Eater Fountain, a grotesque statue depicting a giant ogre devouring a baby. Commissioned in 1545, this chilling figure has puzzled historians for centuries, with debates still ongoing about its original meaning and purpose. Beyond its unsettling appearance, local legend adds another layer of intrigue. Some say that on Christmas night, the fountain flows with wine instead of water, and consuming it could lead to possession by the devil. Whether viewed as a warning to children, a piece of dark humor, or a supernatural omen, the fountain continues to fascinate visitors from around the world. From playful good luck rituals in Florence to frightening legends in Bern, statues are more than just art. They are reflections of human beliefs, fears, and imagination, inviting interaction in ways both whimsical and sinister. That's all for today. These bizarre traditions show just how humans love to interact with art in strange and fascinating ways. If you enjoyed this journey through the world's weirdest statue rituals, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another incredible list. And tell us in the comments, which statue would you want to visit first?